The Earth will be on the outside of all that. All the big giant planets, the sun, everything's going to be behind us. We're the only thing in the entire solar system in front of the sun. And everything that's out in space is going to get tugged into the face of our planet for about 4 months. Imminent right now. This is going to reshape our planet here.
Perfect. Okay.
Now, again, I do need to split some hairs here. Electromagnetism, gravity, and magnetics are all separate yet connected. And will there be gravitational effects because of planetary bodies lining up? That's an unknown. Some people say yes, some people say no. Will there interlooping on toroid fields of magnetic transference or possibility or potentiality occur? Again, some people say yes, some people say no. But until the events happen, we just don't know. But I guarantee we're going to learn a lot about science during this time on interlooping magnetic field currents and how those are affected by the sun and all of our planets and the interplay between those fields. We're going to learn more about this in the next 6 months than we probably have in the last 500 to 800 years in the next 6 months. So these weather fronts are getting incredible. Like every time you look now, when you see these come in, people are going, oh, it's like it was predicted. You see these big fronts coming and people run for their lives, literally, and the hailstones coming down are getting larger and larger and larger. They said a world record hailstone was like 4 pounds and something over in India. And that was a biggie. So these things are starting to uptick. We'll go next slide. This is event number 1, what we're looking at here. All right, so on the left side, this is October 24th or between 19th and in a couple months. On the right side there is 79 AD. And what you see is the 4 gas giants squared up. And this is about the most exact square that I can find going back through the orbital diagrams in the software and using different softwares from Solar System Scope is the one you're seeing here. You can use JPL, Universal Sandbox. But the Earth is coming through on the sandwich between those 4 gas giants. And here's the splitting of a hair. Some say that interlooping of that and the Earth going through the magnetic field from the sun and the magnetic field created by those 4 in this squaring pattern will have no effect or it will have some effect. And again, I'm not really choosing sides on the gravity thing. I am saying absolutely the potential for the human mind to unlock in a different magnetic field and perceive reality different is the thing that is most possible during this, and higher tides too. And again, higher tides would have a very disruptive effect globally. If they come in, there's more velocity, the water's heavier, it's going to rip things to shreds. If it were to, more earthquakes perhaps, but the human resonance field, perception difference, this is my main number 1 thing. It seems like the world is rushing and they don't care how sloppy they are. They need to hit this milestone or get something done before this point. The world awakens, right? So this is coming up in just a couple months. So keep your eyes on this one. A lot of different things should be occurring during this time. You're going to watch a lot of governments respond to this. It's not about the events happening and the government's playing catch up like, oh, there was an earth crack and, our bridge ripped apart from the Mississippi. Let's go repair it. They're going to already have excuses to why it's happening to prevent you from panicking. And then they'll have to put more control. Oh, now it needs to be rationing because we got a bridge broken. Every time one of the events happens, they're going to be more control like a constrictor. Next one, please. Okay, and that's what it's going to look like. So we're going to be on that magnetic field squeeze between the regular sun and then this that only happens once every 2,000 years, this squaring. Now, there's different variations of it. It comes off like a rectangle sometimes. If they come into a line like it did in 1999, that's not the same. This is a square of those. So all those looping fields in on themselves, will it create something larger? That's the thing we will find out from science during this time. And would it have an effect as the Earth passes through 2 magnetic fields? Because normally we only have 1. Now, Jupiter and Saturn, they have their own magnetic fields, but what if those start to interplay on each other? Bank of America said, what if they glow brighter? And then we start to get back into myths and legends. What if these 2, Zeus and what if they start to glow brighter in the heavens where you can see luminosity-wise that, wow, it's much brighter up there. How are they going to respond to that on Earth and keep people calm when 2 planets start glowing brighter just magically in October? This is something to contend with as well, the perception management. Okay, and that'll be in the middle of October here to the end of October. So that's event number 1. And if we could, can you go to next Okay. And again, it's about this resonance. Now, this thing usually moves in the PowerPoint, but it's cymatics. So when you put a different frequency or vibration in something, it changes the shape of it. It changes the actual structure of it. So if there were to be some change electromagnetically because of where the planets sit in this geometry not seen in thousands of years, the way that, again, either our Earth behaves or the human behaves will be greatly affected during this time. Would you be even able to perceive that because you're inside the new magnetic field, so would you even perceive that there was a change versus being an outside looker on the way in because you're going to be encapsulated in this field as it changes? So will you even notice that it changed? That's another question. There's a lot of, things that are unknowns at this point. Can we go to the next one? And now this is another big thing. And you can't tell me with a straight face 2 weeks ago, they started to put out all these news articles that now we have an electric field from 100 miles up all the way to the ground that has this electric frequency in it all the way around the whole planet that somehow they just discovered last 2 weeks ago. They've been talking about this for thousands of years. They talked about the ether. Tesla was tapping into this thing for wireless electricity in the 1880s. And suddenly just this last 2 weeks, they found it. They quote unquote discovered it. And the amount of news headlines on this thing, if you're into the science news, it was like the number one news headline. They verified that there's a millivolt charge and actually voltage charge difference between the ionosphere and our ground. That you could maybe tap that and create electricity and atmospheric harvest it. And then people are now suddenly, well, you know what? Not enough minerals. Let's just go ahead and use this new system. This is way better than building solar panels. Are you kidding me? All right, what's the next one there then?
I've got just to pull up here. This is
please do. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, right there. That was off the NASA feed.
Yeah, so NASA discovers long-sought global electric field on Earth, right? They're saying that a rocket team reports the first successful detection of Earth's ambipolar electric field, a weak planet-wide electric field as fundamental as Earth's gravity and magnetic fields. Quick question, right? With this, you mentioned a lot about perception management. Do you think that they're coming out and talking about this because they realize that more and more people are becoming aware of it and they have to be able to be in front of it? Because if ordinary citizens like Ashton Forbes, for instance, who's been researching the MH370 and alternative electricity, that it's like that the average person is now talking about this stuff and talking about ether and electroculture, and that they're now trying to get out in front of it, and then they're going to have to maybe unveil it in a way they can control and they can, kind of manipulate.
Yeah, but the same thing as I was saying in the beginning with global warming, the reason they gave you an excuse that the weather was going to change, so when you saw it that you wouldn't panic. The same thing with the green agenda where they were saying windmills, solar panels, electric cars. Okay, they knew right from the beginning there wouldn't be enough copper in the world to do. They have to mine more copper in the next 30 years than they did in the last 2,000 years to make this green transition work. So that's simple math, 30 years or 2,000 years. That's a big difference. But imagine moving over into this atmospheric harvesting. Oh, we just hopscotch that. And then suddenly they have anti-gravitics. We don't need the roads any longer. They have all of these, perpetual energy devices that are spinning. And I bet a lot of them will be based on using magnets and opposite rotational disks that'll provide you with electricity forever. But I guarantee they're not going to give it to you for free. It'll be another meter-based system or something. They'll try to say you have to pay for the Earth's magnetic field somehow, or you have to rent the device or something like this. It's very strange that all of this planetary magnetic field change talk is around the circles as well, coming out into the mainstream. And suddenly in the same weeks leading up to that October event, suddenly they find that the Earth's magnetic field, did you see what the most important thing is? It's as important as gravity. Now, for me, gravity is a big, very important part of keeping your feet on the ground. So if they're saying the atmospheric charge is just as important as gravity, well, then I think our scientists are not really scientists. They're quacks and shills. If they couldn't figure that out already, come on.
Exactly. So that helps explain this then, what you're talking about. That they're saying...
Yeah, it's called the global electric circuit, and I forgot to label that. Global electric. Eugene Bagashev's the expert on that.
I see. Okay. So I'll let you continue with the presentation.
Oh, please. And it's only a few more slides, so then it's kind of, these next ones are very easy to understand. All right, so this square is significant that it only occurs every several thousand years. And then, if you start to plug those planets in on the Kabbalah there, then, you start to have something. For me, it's the beginning of the cycle. Not every planet plugs in cleanly. So if you roll around over the next, multiple years, decades, whatever, you can find the completion point where that would plug in the bottom and then finish that cycle.
Okay, my people, here we go. September 9th, 2024. On this Gregorian calendar, I'm recording this video at 7:35 p.m. 7:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is early in the sunrise, and I want to thank David Dubine and Adapt 2030 for putting that video together. Y'all can watch the full video. You can just go onto his page. But anyway, what he's talking about in the magnetic field lines. The Earth has trillions of magnetic field lines. And on these magnetic field lines, all natural, all animals, all natural life on the planet uses these magnetic field lines. These magnetic field lines allow birds, certain animals to do certain extraordinary things that we would consider like fly. Also be able to determine where they are at, how far they should be traveling, where they should be traveling at. This is with these magnetic field lines, and you cannot see these lines. So look at your body with the 7 chakras, right? Look at those chakras as USB outlets. You understand? And these magnetic field lines plug into those chakras that are inside of that are present within your anatomy. So those chakras look like holes, you know what I'm saying? And they should be spiraling counterclockwise. And these magnetic field lines plug into those what you would call chakras. Now you plug into that, you connect to it, and it connects to you. And this gives you what you call supernatural ability. This gives you the ability to fly, levitate, give you the ability to teleport, give you the ability to move just as fast as what you would call the speed of light. And they know this. They already understand this. And if you look at these magnetic field lines, you can see that they are breaking off. Some are breaking off, and then they're repairing back together because Earth is being pulled in the middle of 4 gas giants. And when these gas giants that we are being pulled in the middle of the 4 is going to create new magnetic field lines. You see how these lines that are trying to connect across and they're breaking off, they're breaking apart. Well, is trillions of magnetic field lines on Earth. And what's happening is all the gas giants that we are connecting with, including the sun, we are all going to be one connected universal family. And this is what they are afraid of, because once this starts to take place, that dormant, what you call that dormant junk DNA, that DNA starts to become online. But before that comes online, you have to get rid of fear, self-doubt, self-hate. You have to do that. And self-hate has nothing to do just with yourself. It's how you view other people and other life forms that are natural to the solar system that are so happen to be living in this realm right here. So now, as I move off of this, we go up here to this, the Magnetopause. September the 10th, 2024 on this Gregorian calendar, Magnetopause monitors the dome, the interaction between the sun, the dome or earth shields that protect us from whole so-called harmful or solar gamma radiation, ultraviolet light, whatever you want to call it, as well as Earth. So you have Earth that's sitting in the middle, the daytime over here, which means the sun is over here. This is the magnetic field, the dome that stretches from there to there. The sun is on the other side of that, and this is the nighttime side of the planet. And these right here, which you would consider satellites, goals 16 and goals 18, this is the orbital track. And these 2 satellites are only created or designed to pick up solar radiation. That's it. So if you look at the front of the planet, which would you say the sun is over here, excuse my writing, look at the energy, the double impact energy that is constantly hitting the dome, that is constantly hitting the dome, peeling back the onion. And then look at the nighttime side of the planet. There is no protection over here, none whatsoever. There is no dome. There is nothing that can guard you from solar radiation. UVA, UVB has increased exponentially, and now UVC radiation has been on the ground for the last 5 to 6 years, and it has increased exponentially. And UVC radiation is a detoxifier, a germ killer, a mutating wavelength. Shout out to Adopt 2030. You must have the blood of the sun.